So my job's to take you through an overview of AI for business, to set the scene for the day, to kind of introduce you to the key concepts and ideas that our speakers are going to dig a lot deeper into as we go through the day. So I founded NewZealand.AI in 2017. Actually, the guy that we founded it with, well, Hamish down here, was at the pub on the Friday afternoon when we bought the domain name. And is still working with me on this project now. So we set out to help business leaders like us figure out how, why, where to be utilizing artificial intelligence. And so in 2015-16, I became really curious around how we were interacting with devices. We had Google Home, Amazon Alexa, Siri, and we were asking it questions like, can you turn the lights on in the lounge? Give me a recipe for French onion soup. How do I get rid of the aphids off the bloody roses? So it's voice search type stuff. And then we went to South America, and my wife and I went for 6 weeks to Chile and Argentina, and we noticed that everyone was using Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, but it was all voice messages. It wasn't text messaging like we were seeing in New Zealand and Australia. And so we started asking, well, how is Facebook, what are they doing with this treasure trove of language data? And of course, we know the answer now. So the way that we're interacting with devices was changing. Having come from a background in tech marketing and working with a number of software as a service, customer service tools, one of the sister companies of the one I was working with is ARIA NLG, which is out of Aberdeen in the UK. And so I started learning about how natural language processing could help contact centers understand root cause analysis and how we could build some analytics using natural language processing. And that was kind of the genesis for me that sparked my curiosity and learning. And then, of course, we started the AI show in Auckland, which still runs today as our monthly meetup. And so today I speak at conferences and run workshops with a lot of leadership groups, and we help businesses of all shapes and sizes figure out where they should be utilizing AI. So generative AI is, in the last 18 months, and it is kind of just the last 18 months, right? ChatGPT came out in October 22. And in the last 18 months, more than 2 billion people have used generative AI tools, making it the fastest adoption rate of any general purpose tech in history. We've just never seen technology become as relevant as quickly as Gen AI. And it's really for the first time we've actually created something that's going to be smarter than us. And in many tasks, it already is. What previously took 20 years to create change and then 10 years to transform our lives is going to take 5 or 3. And that creates a lot of challenge. I'll go back. Mark Cuban I'll go back here. Turn the sound up for us.
How do you see this new AI era?
It's a beast. There's only 2 types of companies in this world, Morgan. Those who are great at AI and everybody else. If you don't know AI, you are going to fail. Period, end of story. Whether you are an employee, you're going to have to understand it, how it impacts your job or how you can use it to be better at your job. Same, if you're a student, the same thing. And if you're a CEO, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to get my tech guys to understand it and educate me on it. You have to understand it because it will have significant impact on every single thing that you do. There's no avoiding it.
So it's a bit of a slap in the face, right? Bit of a punch in the face with AI to start in the morning. A couple of really key points there, other than if you don't know AI, you're going to fail. Not quite sure that's quite true just yet, but we might get there. But certainly, this is not something that we can leave to the IT teams. Everyone needs to understand how AI works and how best we can use it. And Gen AI is really where we want people to start. It is the game changer. And as you'll see today, every business needs to be learning. These tools are trained to think like and act like humans, mimicking our behavior. Whether you're a CEO, a scientist, a director, a marketer, everyone needs to use these tools as their mentor or coach and advisor. And as we're going to see out throughout the day, just give them a task to do. That's the first thing they want. Give them a job. They can be your assistant to summarize an industry report, to generate a sales report from your data. They can be your strategist to prepare a go-to-market strategy or role-play a sales pitch, or a creator with one sentence and a prompt in mid-journey creating images that you can use in your marketing and your slides. So where are we at in New Zealand? If you're not using AI in your business today, you are probably in the minority in New Zealand. In Australia, the latest research reports that I read indicate about 70% of Australian companies are using some form of artificial intelligence. I'll put a caveat on that, and that the maturity of adoption is still fairly low, and that's what we're here to change. It's predicted that by 2030, the AI skills boom in Australia is going to net an additional 200,000 more jobs, with the industry currently sitting at about 30,000. AI Forum has a report coming out. Either it's just come out or it's coming out soon with some New Zealand data on that I'll be updating as we go. So, might be stealing the thunder from Nicole from her talk with AWS, but there was some research that came out from AWS earlier in the year that New Zealand employers were actually willing to pay 30% more for people with AI skills. So there is demand for this, for AI skills to help boost productivity and innovation. And so with that adoption, we think about even tools like ChatGPT, the rise of their adoption and that incredible growth. It's a consumer-grade product. Anyone with a browser and a credit card, you don't need a credit card, browser will do, you can start interacting with these AI tools. And so that means that we're starting to see people bring AI tools to work. And that's creating a whole lot of risks. Unless you're deploying, we're going to talk a lot about enterprise Gen AI tools, but when you've just got bring your own AI, and people are bringing their own AI tools to get work done faster, smarter, then you've got a challenge as an employer. You can't manage that interaction. You have less control over the data that people are sharing with those AI tools to get that job done. And of course, all the conversations and all the knowledge that's created with those interactions are just evaporating into thin air. So shadow AI tools are an incredibly big risk and form part of that risk matrix alongside safety and ethics and bias and potential unemployment as well. We are certainly seeing some companies make some people unemployed as a result of their AI adoption. It doesn't mean that they don't need an entire contact center. They might just need a smaller contact center. And so they still need those skills. And what we're seeing is that AI is not replacing entire jobs. AI is replacing some of the tasks, the repeatable processes that we do all day, every day to get work done. And I think that's going to be a really key theme, hopefully a strong theme that comes out of today for you. So the Institute of Directors, the Institute of Directors is doing some very, very good work in the AI space for governance. And so their latest report, there were three really big pillars that they've addressed. So we need to make AI a strategic priority within our organisations, not just from the leadership team, but creating a cross-functional AI leadership or AI working group, and so that we're starting to disseminate the practical ways that AI can be used in our business into every facet of our organisation. We need to understand the risks and develop a robust risk management practice and ethical guidelines for use, addressing privacy concerns and things like that. So we're making really good decisions about the problems that we're trying to solve and the tools that we're using with those. And of course, we need to build the AI skills and capability to be able to do that, to create the literacy within our organisations. This comes up all too often. Actually, it was in I sit on the board of Business Mentors, New Zealand. It's been around 30 years now, and we're working on the strategy for the next 30 years. And you know, we're a classic example of an organisation who 2 or 3 years ago was starting to reimagine what our customer experience might look like. And we built a whole lot of new technology in place to facilitate those mentor-mentee engagements. And what we're finding now is 3 years after doing that, it's just not fit for purpose anymore. The landscape has changed, and it's a hard one to stomach when you've invested a lot of money and a lot of process upgrading your tech, only to find out a couple of years ago that it's obsolete. And so we're hearing this a lot with clients, and so it's important now that I think when we're building new tools and technology, that what we're building can be easily decoupled, that they can be they can work interchangeably with new tools or new systems as they become available. So what is artificial intelligence? AI refers to the capability of machines or software that can imitate intelligent human behavior. Machine learning is a field of computer science that uses statistical techniques to give computer systems the ability to learn with data without being explicitly programmed. Generative AI uses neural networks and deep learning to analyze patterns in large data sets to generate content like text, images, audio, and video, and I got plenty to show you. The process involves synthesizing the learned information to create outputs that mimic human-like creativity and understanding. We've got computer vision, teaching computers to see. We're utilizing that in pack houses where we're sorting apples or grading produce as it's coming through. We're using it to identify the weeds in the paddock. Instead of spraying the whole farm with pesticides, we can just spray individual weeds from precision agriculture. We're using it in billboards so that if you're sitting at the intersection with a billboard across from you, you might be driving a 2007 BMW, and of course, the ad is for the latest 2024 BMW. We're using natural language processing a lot. When you're uploading a video to YouTube, you'll know that it's been transcribed. When you're using Zoom or Teams, it's transcribing that meeting for you, as an example of natural language processing. And of course, we have digital humans. Now, I was speaking at the New Zealand Businesswomen's Conference a couple of months ago, and I introduced her as Marilyn Manson, which of course is an hallucination in AI terms. So this is from Soul Machines, of course, one of the world's innovators of developing digital humans with Greg Cross and Mark Sager in Auckland. And so Marilyn Monroe, of course, is this digital human. So they've created digital humans, not just a chatbot, but a digital human who can interact with you on many more layers than just responding to what you text or say verbally. They can see you, so they can respond to your non-verbal communications, your tone of voice, your facial expressions, your crazy hand gestures, so that you can have a more rich conversation with them. And they've created these digital humans for K-pop stars and super golfers, so that their fans can have a conversation with them. Millions of people can have a conversation with them about all sorts of things, anything, all at the same time. And I think it's quite remarkable. This is Involvo. Tane van der Boom, this idea with this concept around using computer vision to monitor work sites and workplaces for health and safety training. Actually came about in 2017, I think, at a Microsoft hackathon with Vulcan Steel. They've now spun it out into a business that they have customers right across New Zealand and Australia now. They started out using it as a way to train from a health and safety perspective, and now they've developed it out to a software play which has the ability to integrate and create alarms and flashlights and stop machinery and do all sorts of stuff to make sure that you're running a healthier and safer workplace. Genesis Energy have run a big pilot of Copilot, and actually in Auckland next Wednesday for the AI show, we've got the leads from Genesis Energy, Mitre 10, Fonterra and Becker, who are all coming in to share their experience, their practical real-world experience of deploying Microsoft Copilot. In this case, they were using it to transcribe meetings, to summarize complex reports, to come up with action summaries for their meetings, and condense technical information. And so their people self-reported between 2 and 5 hours a week of increased productivity. This is Fruitometry in Tauranga. So Chris, who started this business, came out of Team New Zealand from a few tours ago. He built a supercomputer in his garage, and they fitted a whole lot of lights and cameras to their quad bikes. They drive up and down kiwi fruit orchards, and so they're scanning the trees. They're looking for the leaves, the vines that have got disease that might need treatment. Are any vines undernourished or need water? And of course, once they start seeing buds coming out and the fruit growing, they can start predicting the yield from the harvest. So it's going to be really interesting as the innovation in kiwi fruit growing goes from horizontal to vertical farms, and how this technology evolves from there. Certainly, it's quite dark underneath the canopies, especially with really big orchards, so it can be quite hard even with lights and cameras to get some good quality data. So that'll be really interesting to see how that goes. There's a company in Auckland called Brand IQ, Steve Ballantyne, and we're starting to see, it's predicted that by the end of next year, 95% of all marketing content is going to be generated by artificial intelligence. And it's happening now. So we're starting to see tools like Midjourney, and a bunch of others, these text-to-image generation tools. It's quite handy if you might have to learn a few new skills around prompting with tools like Midjourney. If you think about taking a photo, there are attributes there like the type of lens, the shutter speed, the ISO. There's all sorts of different things which make up a good shot. And you use some of those attributes as in Midjourney to help it understand the type of image that you're looking for. It's a part of your creative process. Here, they'll be using Midjourney for this product marketing shot with a skincare product. It's expensive buying flowers. It takes a long time to grow flowers like that. And curate them. So literally we can imagine the background, we can imagine the setting that we want our product to be in, and then place the product in that photo, in that image, as an after effect. Matter Studio in Auckland. Can you play that one for me, buddy? Matter Studio in Auckland, of course, when they were taking, don't need audio for it, when they were taking a photo for this couch, for that magazine cover, previously they might have to find the house that had the right setting for that couch. Now they can take a photo of the couch in their studio and they can literally imagine infinite number of backgrounds and settings that might go in for their marketing. So it's pretty remarkable around how it's changing that creative process. Auckland Theatre Company produce a lot of shows, obviously, and so their team, Joanna O'Connor and their team now use Midjourney to to ideate, to spin out a whole lot of different ideas around what the images and the marketing material might look like for their shows. So instead of sending a brief to an agency to take a couple of weeks to come up with lots of ideas, they sit down for an afternoon with Midjourney and they spin up a whole lot of different concepts. They then prioritize the top ones that they like, which then go to the designer for the final editing and putting in the actors and characters and those sorts of things. So it's a part of their creative process. And next we've got text to video generation. And this is, almost by far one of the most remarkable innovations in artificial intelligence that, and certainly in Gen AI, that we're seeing. Now, Sora from OpenAI, they've been talking about launching this since probably February, and we're still waiting, but we keep getting teased with incredible videos like this. Turn this audio up. I mean, remember back 6 months ago, a year ago, none of these AI tools were getting hands and fingers and elbows, right? They're all over the place. Now we're coming up with creative like this, which is just remarkable. We're also seeing ads come up like this.
Volvo for life.
So this Volvo ad was created by Rick Deckard, not an official CX-90 advert, by the way. Rick made that AI video in less than 24 hours using Runway ML, which is a text-to-video generation tool, and some minor After Effects, adding in the number plate, which I think is pretty remarkable. Next up, you'll remember a few years ago when we were talking a lot about deepfakes. So President Obama, people were stealing his video off YouTube and making him say stuff that he wouldn't normally say. Now you can do this for yourself. It's really easy. Costs less than $50 a month. Don't need to be a hacker to do any of this stuff anymore. So there's a platform called HeyGen, H-E-Y-G-E-N, that I use. And if your business produces a lot of video content, whether that's market updates or product videos or announcements or welcome emails for customers, you'll know how expensive it is producing a lot of video content. Not only have you got to have the camera crew here, you've got to have the teleprompter so you remember your lines, you've got to have the color grading and the sound effects to be able to do it all, and it takes a lot of time and money. So content production is becoming automated. So I went into a studio at the EMA in Auckland and I recorded 5 minutes of myself just talking gibberish to a 4K camera. And I uploaded that into HeyGen, where it created a digital avatar of myself and cloned my voice. I also used another tool called 11 Labs, which is an AI unicorn now, valued at over $1 billion, but it is, in my experience, by far the best voice cloning tool out there and does background audio and things like. You can upload a video into 11 Labs and it will create the soundtrack for you. It's insane. So now when I want to produce a video, instead of having to self-record, I can literally go into HeyGen and I change the script in HeyGen, or I upload a voice recording that I've done on my phone, and it does all the lip syncing for me. I'll play that one again.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Justin Flitter. I founded AI New Zealand in 2017 and have been helping companies use artificial intelligence.
Okay, so then if I
ever
want
since.
to change that video into another language, I just click a button.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Justin Flitter. J'ai fondé AI New Zealand en 2017.
Now, what's remarkable about this is not a French audio over the top of me speaking English. The lip syncing is fully matched to the audio.
Commençons.
Hasn't got te reo as an option yet, so we have some work to do around that. If you know how Canva works, in HeyGen you can add slides and animation and graphics and all sorts of things to pad out and build out your videos, or you can export this and add it into Canva and do all sorts of stuff. I can also, put a shirt on or a hat on or put a pair of glasses on, or it's quite creative. Okay, so what are the three main use cases that we're seeing New Zealand companies adopt? Generally speaking, the first of all is going to be in customer service, or at least building a chatbot that's trained on your company data. Right, back in 2017-18, some companies were spending $1 million building enterprise chatbots. And today, we can stand up a proof of concept for $20, right? The technology is free. Where in the past, you were running an if this, then that rule. If this query, if this question, give them this response, send them to that URL. Today, we can you have a folder in the cloud, you can upload any type of content you like, whether it's a Word doc, an audio doc, a PDF, an image, a spreadsheet, whatever type of information. You can even give it links to websites to go and scrape. The large language model will read, understand that information, and provide you with a chat interface where your staff or your customers or partners can ask questions, and it looks to just that library of information for the content. You're starting to train the large language model on your information. As you get more advanced, you can customize it to your personality, your brand tone of voice, your style, and flair. The next is document creation. So we're using tools like Copilot tools, Microsoft Copilot or Amazon Q or Google Gemini or ChatGPT to answer emails, to create sales presentations, prepare board reports, maybe even write some legal documents. Anjali's in the room, she'll beat me up later. And of course write marketing reports as well. All of those digital tasks that we have to do repeatedly in our business. And then the last one is really thinking about building that company brain. We have immense amount of knowledge and experience sitting within our organizations. Some of our people have spent 10 years or decades in their careers building up the domain knowledge that we have. So imagine if you had a large language model being able to incorporate that, being connected to the disparate data sets that you have in your business, from your CRM to your finance to your file storage to the conversations. And having a generative AI layer that can connect those disparate data sources so that you can create that blended search result and really deeply understand what's happening in your business. And instant intelligence is at your fingertips is now becoming table stakes. Companies and organizations that start to capture, leverage this new way of working are going to unlock new value, new funding, new revenue, and growth. We don't want to spend time sifting through a dozen files in SharePoint or Google Workspace or wherever it is trying to find knowledge. Knowledge recall is what AI does really, really well. And that's something that we're not necessarily always that good at. And there's not just our knowledge, it's finding the knowledge from somewhere else within the business to help us make an informed decision faster that's most important. So how much time do you spend looking at one of these? Be honest. Quite a lot. With artificial intelligence, you should spend a lot less time looking at pages like this because no one should be starting a task from scratch. If we roll back, for decades, that search for knowledge, that search for information started with a Google query. How do I create give me a template for a marketing strategy, only to be given, a couple of billion search results? I mean, today this just seems like ludicrous. I mean, how on earth did this make sense to anybody? How useful is that today? Not really at all. Because you have to go through those first 2 pages or however many pages of Google, and you're clicking on these different links, trying to pull out the useful, relevant, interesting information to help you build that strategy, to build your argument, to find the information that you need to do that job. Right? And today, these AI tools like Perplexity and ChatGPT has now launched their search tool as well. They're going out and doing this for you. They're creating that blended search result, going out to the web, searching for relevant, useful, interesting information that it thinks is going to answer your question or help you solve that problem succinctly and deliver that back to you in an articulate format. Perplexity's been doing search for a long time. It is my #1 favorite AI tool of the moment. I use it every day for summarization, for writing, and for research. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how ChatGPT's new tool plays out, especially with the voice activation. Right, a lot of CEOs that I know, when they're driving into work in the morning, they're just having a conversation with ChatGPT all the way. Of course, they get to the office and they've got this transcript, and they've just been mulling over ideas in their head, trying to solve problems, and they can role play. Anyway, a little sidetrack. So, any one of these tools, you can ask any one of these AI tools any question you like, and I almost guarantee that the answer they give will be better than the answer any one of us in this room would be able to provide. And I think that's pretty damn remarkable. It's taken years and years of research, and yet today we're just at the very, very beginning of our journey. Each one of these AI assistants operates in a different way. They're built in a different way. Their models work in different ways. Digital avatars and AI agents. We're going to see a lot of this coming out over the next few years. When I was in Gore, I was talking to some master builders down there, and one of the things that they got quite excited about was this idea of when an order comes in, or job comes in via email, their AI agent might be able to understand that order, assign it to one of their team, and then talk to Carter's AI agent to order the materials to arrive on site on time. That was pretty exciting. I'm like, we are not that far away from that kind of technology becoming available to you. AI agents are going to become a dominant entity, conducting a lot of those time-consuming tasks on the web that we don't want to do, we don't need to be doing anymore. Websites will cater for these agents, and a lot of people will be interacting with your business via an agent, via an API call. And if they actually do have to visit the website, it will be personalized, it will be dynamic based on what you know about them. Oh, hang on a sec, another.
Why would I want to be interviewed by a digital version of myself? Well, great question. Read AI, introduce yourself to everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today. I'm an AI-generated version of Reid Hoffman, his digital twin. My thinking and everything I am saying comes from a custom GPT that is based on 20 years of Reid talking and making content. So I've read all his books, watched his speeches, and listened to his podcasts. I think it gives me a pretty good sense of how you approach.
All right, so Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, of course, creating a custom GPT based on all the information it's read and consumed about him. We can all do this for our own organizations. This starts really, this is such a practical way to help make information within our business much more accessible either to employees or to staff or partners, right? Especially, junior or new staff as they're coming in, they've got all sorts of questions that they might have to be buddied up with a senior. We can help accelerate their learning with tools like this. So we're going to see organizations starting to use this more and more and more to build a custom GPT based on their domain knowledge and their company information so that we can build AI agents and automations and do all sorts of things with it. We're starting to see artificial intelligence being used in recruitment a lot. So on one side, a lot of companies now are using AI tools to screen applications, to grade them, to sort those applications as they're coming through. And so there's a bit of a digital gateway that's got to be busted. On the other side of things, we've also got AI tools that can now find jobs for you to apply for, write your cover letter and your CV, and apply for that job for you, and as it happens, actually attend the job interview on your behalf.
Hi Ian, how are you? Where are you calling from today?
I'm doing great, thanks, and I'm in London. I've been looking forward to discussing this opportunity with you today.
Great stuff. If it's okay with you, I'd like to dive straight into it. Can you tell me about a product that you've launched that you're proud of and why?
Certainly. One of the products I'm most proud of is a mobile app that we designed to streamline online shopping for customers.
So, we got some challenges here, people, right? We got authenticity and validation of who's actually on the call with you. You might have heard of that. Another example, there was a finance company, investment company in Singapore. This came out in like February or March this year. And one of the finance team was invited to a Zoom call with the CFO and two of his colleagues. Now, being invited to a Zoom call with the CFO was a little bit unusual, but because his colleagues were there, he was like, oh, okay, I'll go along. In that call, the CFO asked him to process a payment for $25 million, which he thought was also a little bit odd, but because his two colleagues were there, he'd go along with it. So he processed the payment for $25 million. All three of them were all fake. We have face-swapping technology now in GitHub that you can run live in Zoom calls. The quality is rubbish, but it'll be better next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. So we have to start thinking about, and this is, part of the job that we have here is showcasing the remarkable stuff that artificial intelligence can do, but also making you aware of the bad actors and the other side of these things and how the same technology can be weaponized too, right? So I don't know whether we need a passcode or a safe word or whether Microsoft is going to come out with some other different tools to be able to validate this, or whether there must be, is there a watermark system that has to come in here? Not sure. So of course, over the last kind of 4 or 5 years, or probably longer than that, more like 10 years, we've had this kind of idea of making data-driven decisions and using data science and perhaps a little bit of machine learning to uncover unique insights from our company data. And today with generative AI, that extends from data being numbers to data being text and unstructured information, unstructured data within our organizations to help us make richer, more effective decisions. we might want to understand how we stack up to the competition. And in the demo this afternoon with Perplexity, I'll run a little example around how we do competitor research using Perplexity for building a marketing strategy as an example. Where are our strategic blind spots? There's all sorts of questions that you might have as a leadership team within your organization that utilizing these tools, especially if it's got some context around with your company data, it's going to be able to help you understand. The next innovation that I think is really, really interesting is digital twins, and thinking about technology that allows us to simulate different scenarios. So it might be mapping or weather or environmental, might be civil emergency planning. It could be, as a law firm, you want to play out different cases or different arguments and debates. Might be as a sales team, you actually want to challenge each other to prepare for that sales call, for those difficult questions that you might be getting asked during that demo, so that you're well prepared. So this example is a digital twin of Earth hydrology platform. It's an openly available digital twin of the terrestrial water cycle reconstruction simulations. It's over the Mediterranean basin, actually. And so they're using this with real-time and live data to be able to provide different simulations of how things might play out. And I think this is going to be not just happening for geospatial, but certainly the ability to happen for boards and leadership teams to play out different scenarios. Certainly for contact centers, it's like, when we make this a big announcement, how is that likely to impact our contact center? What might the questions be? How do we make sure that we've got all the canned responses and all of the information that we need to be able to provide a really great level of service? So some closing words from me. We need companies to be leveraging enterprise-grade solutions. We do not want bring your own AI to work. It creates a whole lot of security risks. So we want everyone to have those platforms too, so that we're, the AI is sitting within our tenancy. We have those guardrails and those safeguards to enable our people to use AI safely and responsibly at work. We don't want to let data delay progress. And quite often, getting your house in order and getting that data set, really well organized can take quite a long time. Find the use cases that give you that early adoption, to give you those quick wins. It might not be that you need to provide an AI tool with all your company data. A folder of 10 files might be quite suitable to get you started and going. So get the process going and find those quick wins. And lastly, the speed which an organization can innovate using AI should match the level of trust it has with customers, employees, and potentially regulators as well. Without trust, all of our stakeholder relationships, fall over. People become reluctant to use it. There could be a lot of anxiety around, is it coming to take my job? Are you going to make me unemployed or redundant? And of course not. We want to be creating sustainable careers and continuous learning, so that we're not losing people. We're just helping our people become more effective and more productive to help that business scale and grow. Building trust involves being transparent in your communications, along with ethical AI practice and robust data measures. So, we are very much at the beginning of our AI journey today. We're really pleased and really excited about some of the opportunities and challenges that we get to work with companies around New Zealand. So thank you.